Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we will check out the leader Belo. She got quite popular in the OP09. She got a recent buff with some new cards, especially like these two, which are quite strong. The Karasu is a blocker, which to trigger if your opponent and your life are 5 or less. So you always have to combine your life cards. Then you can play him out for free, which is quite nice. And also Kuma has the same. And Kuma is a 2k counter, which is always nice, and a 5k power body. And Karasu is only a 4k power character, but still as a blocker it's quite nice as well, and also has 1k counter power. So in general, two really strong cards and really cool additions. And I feel like the deck in general was quite strong, but I feel like it was lacking a little of power, especially if you compare it to Dofi, for example, which can cheat out so many characters. It couldn't keep up with the pace of some other decks, and also some of the more control-heavy decks, like which is control heavy. Maybe something like a Katakuri, for example. It wasn't able to push for the game in the certain situations because you didn't have so many characters which had the trigger, or you couldn't gain so many characters on board. I also chose to play these two events. Like I one time the bus card mochi for 2 cards. I think I only used it one time in all of my gameplays. I think in the last one I used it for blocker, which is quite nice. Or it could be quite cool to use it for a certain character which you want to remove. But otherwise, both of them are more for the trigger there. So you can play up one 4 cost from your hand by, I think this one, play up one character card with the Revolution Army, cost 4 less from your hand. And I think for this one you have to discard a card. Oh no, you don't have to. Just a 4 cost with trigger. So both are quite nice to gain some extra cards and put them into play. Especially like something like Karasu or even the Limburg, which need to rest for one round. I mean, like the Inazuma is the only rush character, but I feel like some of them are quite nice cards, but they need to rest a turn. So usually the opponent KOs them or get rid of them before you can even use them, which is quite sad. So I felt like this deck needed a little bit of trigger power and play out some cards or cheat out cards for free. I got inspired from this deck list from the Belo from One Piece top decks. Belo got 2 tops. One time this one second place, and the other one is here first place. So I choose the more recent build because I liked it from the characters a little better. I didn't played the Frankie because Frankie is a quite nice trigger, but otherwise I was not so happy of just playing a 4 cost 5000 power character without any benefit. Of course it's a 2k, but I felt like with the new Kuma we already got some more 2k strengths on the deck, so I felt like maybe the Frankie is not needed. And also I choose not to play the Pierre. It's just a 2 cost, which for the trigger plays himself out. Here I got an inspiration for the 2 events, which are quite nice. Of course, you maybe not use them so often, but in general, quite nice trigger effects. And I didn't choose to play the Koala. I'm really not sure about this card at the moment. I saw on Card Market it's really popular, probably because it's also cheap and it's an SR. But the on-play effect, of course, it's a blocker. 6 cost, 6 power is not bad, but 6 cost for a deck like Belo is a kind of an investment. But on the other hand, you can play out one 4 cost character or less Revolution Army type for free, but you need to take one life card, and then you can draw a card. So you're getting some advantage with this card. Technically it's really not bad, but at the moment I felt like because it also she doesn't have any counter, I saw like maybe I will try with this build at first. Maybe in the future I will try out also with this koala. But at the moment I felt like this deck is a little, or like these cards are a little bit more valuable. For example, like the Fire Fist. I quite enjoyed it also if you don't have the Buzzcut Mochi for KOing blocker, because it's you not always, but most of the time you ending in a situation where you yeah, the opponent maybe has 1 life, 2 life, or 3 life, and you have maybe 1 or 2 character attacks more, but you cannot go like 10 into life or something. Usually you are hitting more like 7 or 8 or something, and then they have even a blocker, so it's quite nice to KO a blocker for a 2 cost event, and then maybe go 7 or 8 into life, so you are saving 1 free attack for your opponent. To go more into life, because the Molly is not always available. It's a really cool card to dodge blocker, especially if the opponent doesn't have any life. But yeah, most of the case I had the problem that I was there with maybe like these 2, for example, and the leader, and then the opponent has 1 life and 1 blocker, and I'm like, do I want to risk it? And he has 4 cards in hand or something, so it's like a risky situation. Like, do I go in for life, or yeah, and then I usually just take this to KO the blocker, get rid of it, and then I have 3 attacks to play it a little bit more safe, and I feel like most of the time it was quite a nice card, I would guess. Okay, so let's go into the gameplays. I took the time to talk a little about the deck, a little more than for the other decks, because the Belo gameplays, they are a little faster usually. I feel like the most fastest I had so far. So first play is against Nico Robin. As you can see, it's just a 7-minute play, so it went really fast. She chose to go first, which is a little sad. Like, we want to go first, but in a lot of gameplays here, actually I had to go second, because the opponent just was a little lucky. We played a Belo, usually like the best first starter. It's the 2k buddy, which is our leader ability we can push. He's drawing 2 cards with the Derishi, which is quite nice for him. We don't want to banish one of our life cards, we want to get the trigger. So thinking about playing the Karasu for then going 5 into 4 into his life. So as Belo, you want to rush the character, the opponent quite fast down. So in longer term, you usually always lose. Especially if you have to fight against something like a 10-cost Ace or a 9-cost Yamato. So you really want to put a lot of pressure on. There's the Nami. Quite sad that he can KO our 4-cost Karatsu. And this is what I mean, like, yeah, we have to let our life go. It's like kind of sad if you play out a character for 4 or 5 cost and you want to build up some pressure, and then the opponent is just KOing it. So it's really not so nice losing like half of your board in a second, and the opponent establish a card. Anyways, he couldn't draw from the Nami, so it was also not that bad for us. We go into life, he gets the trigger soul, Jaguar Soul. Quite a strong Nico Robin character. Also the don't underestimate a miracle. For 1 Don, oh no, he's KOing again our character with a Nami, quite sad, and this time he could have he could draw a card. Nice, we got the trigger. Always take the cards, the normal attacks, and never the attack from her. Because yeah, Nico Robin always have to banish. So I was thinking about using the blocker, but I just trashed the life because I felt like we need the 3 cards. The event, the trigger event, don't underestimate a miracle, gives plus 2000 for our Belo. And here we, as you saw, we used the 2-cost event to KO the blocker, so we saved a little Don for our attacks. So now we can go kind of easy and fast into his life. We used our leader ability plus 3000. And now 5 into lead, he gives us a 1k, quite nice. We want to get some cards off his hand. 5 into life, he probably gives us another 1k, nice. Of course he cannot use the Nico Robin anymore, because her unplayability is only for 3 or more life. I was thinking about using the Inazuma because it's a rush character. So we can, yeah, go into Nami, maybe KOing her because we only have 1 life. So yeah, he lets her go, quite nice. 8 into life, and now I was thinking, I was even thinking, should I go with Kuma into life? But I thought like, it's probably better, and taking the blocker as well, because I felt like we will block anyways out of next turn. Yeah, and this was kind of like a maybe at this point a small misplay. Maybe shouldn't have attacked with the Karasu. At this point, I thought like if he has another Nami or can KO Karasu with another card. I don't know his play. Maybe he has a Yamato or something. He could KO our Karasu with the Yamato, then he would be kind of freely for going 2 times in our life. But we still had 2 2k counters and our event for gaining plus 2000 for our leader, for our leader for 1 attack. So I felt a little safe, but maybe I shouldn't have attacked with the Karasu. So he didn't got, yeah, so he didn't got his Jaguar Diesel. So now he got the ace, he gained another life, he attacked straight into our life, we let it go. Because we know we only have to get out of his 1 attack from ace, otherwise he can only attack with 5 cost, so we can get out of it. Here we use the event, now 1 of our 2Ks, and yeah. I don't know why he attacked with the blocker. Maybe he felt kind of safe, or he thought like, okay, maybe he was just trying to go a little risky into life. Maybe I would have done the same, but at this point, like, yeah, he can just push our characters, go into life, and the clapback is too hard for him. He got a kick on Nujo, but it doesn't matter so much at this point. Another 7 into life. He, yeah, couldn't counter out. Kinda sad for him that he lost on the clapback. So, okay, next gameplay is against Black Purple Luffy. So this is quite a fast game. Sadly we can only go second again. We play out the Belo Betty, nice searcher. Always good to have her first. If you go second, it's also nice to have 2 of her, because you can play both for free kind of, because you cannot play anything and cannot attack, and then you have in the next turn already 2 characters which can go into life. He used the 2 cost event. It's nice for him to ramp, but otherwise it's a little, maybe a little too much for a Belo Betty searcher. But anyways, he decided so it was fine. Could be also a good call against Belo Betty. I don't know his hand, so maybe it's quite nice. We use the Karasu. Hopefully it sticks to the board. It's always nice if it sticks to the board. Go 5 into 4. He takes it. He gives us a 2k. We get a trigger because he could just go 5 into life. That's crazy. He's not establishing anything. We are getting the Basmochi trigger, and we can only play a card with a trigger, so I was kind of confused at first. I was confused about the other event, because it can play any Revolution Army card and this is only a trigger, so yeah, I was a little confused. Luckily we had the Kuma card, so we can play out a 5 cost character. Now we play out the what was her name again? Ivankov, yeah, right. Use the leader ability, play out another Karasu, and going with 8 into 3, that's really nice. Now we go with our leader ability, 7 into 3, quite nice. He would have used 3 cards to counter out. Karasu is such a nice card, yeah, for getting the leader down. So he lost 3 life, or was it 2 life? Let me check for a second, no. He lost 3 life in 1 turn. It's crazy. Yeah, really lucky for us, and as you can see, it's quite important to get a trigger, to get some extra characters on board, because the power of the character is usually not the problem, but to have some characters and get this kind of rush thing going is, yeah, that's a little of a problem. So now he's in a really bad spot. He only has 7 Dawn and he cannot do anything, so he surrenders at this point, because next turn, even if he KO'd 1 character, we could have just maybe even counter out, and then Karasu is probably too strong. So we got another gameplay. I think we have 6. Yeah, 6. Okay, so this time he go first again, and he don't have the Law Searcher, which is quite nice. We have the Belo Betty, which is cool, and sadly we cannot pick another Belo Betty from her search. We need to play another, or pick another character. Luffy is a really strong character at the moment, and also quite a problem for us, because he can wash us with big characters down. Maybe here's a small misplay from my side. Maybe I shouldn't have played the Kuma at this point, because I'm playing out the Kuma here, and I put my camera back up. I always forget about this. But actually it doesn't matter so much. I can leave it maybe down on the right side, and I will not forget about it. So yeah, we play out the Kuma, KOing the blocker, and then go 7 into life. Yeah, maybe we should have played a Limburg for KOing something next turn, because he is now at 7 Dawn, and he would play out, yeah, for sure, the Luffy Taro and the Sun Goro. So maybe we could have played out a Limburg, then playing a Koala this turn, and then KOing at least the Sangoro, which would have been way better for us, and also go 7 into life maybe. Yeah, quite sad at this point. Also, he didn't attack us because he knew for 5 life. This is also kind of like a counter tip for you. If you are at 5 life in total, like I told you about the Karasu and the Kuma trigger, it's sometimes nice to not attack Belo Betty and just wait a second, so you can, yeah, make sure that you have enough characters to go and finish her quite easy in the next turn. Because from the triggers, Belo Betty is gaining her strength. So yeah, we went 3 times into life. He gave us a lot of 1k and 2k counters, which is quite sad. We didn't achieve anything this turn, and now on the clapback he finishes a lot of our characters. Sanji is drawing him a card, quite sad. And if he can KO now, yeah, he's playing a Sanji, he can KO the Limburg, so sad. So he finished our whole board in just 1 turn. Always sad to see, especially if you cannot gain any trigger cards, because now he is not attacking again. And next turn he has 4 cards, maybe even 5 when he can play, like if he has the Secret Rare Luffy with Rush to go in our 3 lives and maybe finish us next turn. So that's why he didn't attack. So quite nice for him. Now we go 7 into 3. He gives us the Gum Gum Giant because he left it down open. He trashed 1 Luffy, and yeah, this is really not good, looking so good for us. We did a wrong decision in the early game, and yeah, now we are in a, like, Luffy is in a big advantage and we are in a big disadvantage, so quite sad for us here that we couldn't do anything really. I thought like maybe playing the Karasu, because if he attacks with 5 characters into us, then we probably, yeah, cannot get out of it. And also the Karasu can help us for the next turn to go into his life. Yeah, so now we just take some cards. We are hoping for some triggers. We're getting a trigger, but the Kuma is technically, yeah, not really the best card, and we needed to have maybe a 5 cost. 5 cost of 5k power. This would have been quite cool. Now we had a 10 don turn. We have a lot of dons to play out this turn, but we technically have really low power characters, and he still have 2 life. So, and 4 cards in hand, and 1 is probably a Gum. Yeah, is a Gum Giant because he drawed it with the Zoro Juro. Quite sad that he drew a Gum Giant. So for him, really lucky. So yeah, we don't have any other choice. We have 0 life. We need to finish this turn. Otherwise we lost. And so yeah, we used the leader ability for all 3 characters, and now we have to figure out like how should we manage this. I was thinking about just going 7 into 5. Maybe I should have used 9 into 5. But then he maybe could have just took the first hit. Yeah, so at this point we kinda lost. I did quite a bad don management. As I said, I maybe should have started with 9 and the second one also 9. And then used the last attacks. Or maybe at least 1 9 first, and if he took it, then maybe trying a 7 and then 9 again, and then something like an 8 or something like, yeah. So we just went into life. He countered out so well, he had so many cards, and yeah, we concede. Because at this point, he only had then a Big Mom left, and he got a 1k counter, so maybe we could have done it a little differently, but yeah, as you can see, if the opponent overwhelms you or have a lot of counters in hand, it's quite hard to yeah, push for life. But even in this situation, like you saw, Belo can be quite strong if you get 1 trigger and have the 3 cards up for attacks, then usually you're getting a lot of value out of them. So even if you finished our whole board and nearly yeah, destroyed us, it was at this point nearly, or we were kind of close for a, yeah, for a cool comeback. I mean, if he had, if we got a 5,000, then maybe it would have been also way more easy to go with a 9k attack into his first life. So maybe then I would have chosen a 9 cost attack first, but I don't know at this point. Okay, so let's go to the next gameplay against Pudding. She's not the strongest character at the moment, but she can go quite fast into her 10 don turns. And I just wanted to see how we can perform into her, because she is more of a faster control deck, and she chose to go first, which is also a little drawback for us. Yeah, I was probably I'd take the Kuma. Oh no, I take the Molly, because I thought like Pudding is maybe not a big problem for us. Did I choose another? Yeah, another one. I take the Karasu because I felt at this point I will not play a Kuma in the next turn. Hopefully I get a trigger Kuma. There is a trigger Kuma, but I cannot play. Also, kind of reminder for you guys, if you take this trigger, they will always ask you to use the trigger. And I'm not sure why they even ask you, because if you and your opponent have more than 5 life, this card will just go straight to the trash. I tried it in one game, and yeah, it's like, why you even asked if you cannot use the trigger? Kind of sad. I mean, maybe for some gameplays it's nice to ask, but I felt at this point, like, why should you have the Kuma in trash? I mean, it could be nice, but for some yeah, plays I don't know about at the moment, maybe with a Nami or something, but I'm not sure. Okay, anyways, we are playing the Ivankov out. Trash 1 card to make all of our characters gain plus 3000. Playing a Karasu from the Ivankov, so give minus 1000 to the Pudding and then just go 5 into life or 3 times. And she takes the 2 life. And she's not using the blocker. She's carrying our 2 Belo Baddies and carrying with the Hakai Ocean event, which is also not that common. Yeah. Our other two characters. So yeah, now we lost our whole board again. Quite sad, and we are riffing with the Ivankov. Really sad these moments when you are riffing. Happens sometimes. You can always break. Um, she ramps up again. Yeah. So next turn she's at 10 on turn. I'm a little confused why she didn't use this more earlier, but maybe she was a little scared. That's why she chose the event. We got the Morley trigger, quite nice. Another character on board. So now we're KOing, yeah, the blocker, and yeah, get rid of our koala for plus 3000, and now just swinging 9 into lead. Really nice. So he only has 2 cards in hand. So I didn't know for sure, but usually as a pudding you want to save some big moms in hand. So I knew for sure one of them is a big mom, and the other 2 maybe could have been 2k counters. But I also knew we wouldn't lost next turn, probably. So yeah, that's why I thought, why not just trying to go for 7 into life. I mean, at this point we also could have went 9 into life. I think I thought for a second about 7. That's why I chose 2 Don before, but I felt like at this point, yeah, maybe just 9 and then here with 10 for game. Anyways, it was quite fast again. Pudding had, yeah, was rushed down. She didn't have any big chance. I just wanted to check like why. Like at this point she is 4 down at our turn. Then she attacks. Ah yeah, at this point. And she's gaining another 2. So another 1. So now she should be at 5. Why she's at 5? So now she starts. Wait. Ah, it's this minus 2 down. Ah, that's why she lost 2 down. I'm not so sure about this event. Now I even saw the minus 2 down. I thought like you can just KO 2/6 cost, which is actually not that bad. Actually, it's quite nice. Especially in the more earlier turns, you can use it until you get to Big Mom. But otherwise, I feel like, why should you lose 2 Don if you want to go for Big Mom? Also, this card doesn't have any counter. Interesting. I probably wouldn't play this card, but it's definitely an option for somebody who likes it. So now, going into the next game. And we're playing against Ace. This guy has a lot of counter cards, especially with the events. Usually, I don't know his play, but usually he has a lot of counter cards. So I wanted to see how to play against a normal red character. Also, I couldn't find the Shanks at this point of day, so yeah, I saw like at least there's some different red leader. Because I've had played against so much purple leader, against Pudding, against Luffy, against black purple Luffy, I wanted to play against something else instead of only purple leader. Okay, and also, which was kind of sad, I forgot to record play against Yamato. It was quite a nice game. I had a lot of fun playing it and it was really close. Like in the end, I just won with my last attack and the last 1000 power. Otherwise, he could have countered out. So was quite a nice game. And on the clapback, of course, like next turn, he would have finished me. So yeah, this was a really nice game. So I'm really sad that I couldn't play it. Or showed it for you. I played it, of course. Okay, so we're playing out the Ivankov. We did some early games, like of course always the Belo. We play out the Karasu blocker. Always nice to have a blocker on field. KOing with the Kuma. What was our options? Ah, we could have also played. I was thinking about the power Kuma, but I thought like KOing the other one for getting the Belo Betty is quite nice. He used a 4-cost event to KO our Ivankov, which is a little sad, but he's not going into our Belo Betty, which is also nice, so we keep our character and can go on this turn into life. So I am playing out the Ivankov. I thought like maybe we can get the Karasu, otherwise usually you attack first and then play out the character, especially for the trigger. So 5 into life gives us one of his aces. Another 5, he gets another ace. Now 7 into life and 7 into life. So we got 2 lives, playing out 2 characters, quite nice. Okay, he KOs our blocker, he playing out the rush ace, which is quite strong. Especially in Black Purple Law, it was quite strong. Get the Morley trigger, so nice. Yeah, we just give up the Mochi because I feel like he's probably not playing a 1-cost blocker. He probably takes it for an event. Now 7 into life. I was thinking about letting it go, but I felt like just to play safe, 1 life is always good to go. So yeah, counter out, and then he plays a KOing event and gets rid of our highest character, the Ivankov. But I think it doesn't matter so much at this point anyways. So we go 7 into life, use the leader ability of course. We have 9 Don, which is quite strong. 9 into 5. He probably needs to counter out now. Yep, there's a Zedge. And the 0-cost event. Now 7 into life. He probably doesn't have any trigger or counter power at this point if he used the if he used the 0-cost event, and now just going straight with 9 into Morley. He also used as you can see the trigger of the event and minus 3000 to our Belo Betty. I'm also a little confused. He has a Radical Beam in his hand. Why he didn't... because it was just his... it's 8 on turn, okay, and he played the Rush Ace to KO some of our board, and he wanted to KO the Ivankov, that's why he didn't have enough counter for the ace. It probably would have been better if he played this ace than KOing one of our small character, maybe the Karasu. Then he's still 3 down and he just need to leave open 2. So he could have went 7 into Karasu. Maybe I would have countered out at this point. I don't know, maybe not. And then he could have go 2 into 2 and 5 into 2, maybe KOing half of our board. And then he could still KO our Ivankov at the end and had 1 Don open for the Radical Beam. But anyways, he decided to play like this, and we were also just a little lucky from the triggers again. Okay, and this is the last game for today. We're playing against Queen. I saw the Queen and I thought like he didn't really recorded any game with Queen, and he probably got also some new tech cards, I don't know, at the moment. So I thought like, why not playing against Queen? If somebody likes to play the Queen and maybe it's a strong character as well and can perform. I heard the Queen also is really not a bad character. Yeah, we have a lot of Karasus playing out 2 Belo Betty. He uses the trigger from Gravity Blade, which is really not bad. Maybe he could have used it for later, but getting rid of 1 Belo Betty, especially taking a little of our fast fast power or our push power out, is not that bad in general. Nice, we get a Limburg for KOing something maybe in the future, especially with the Karatsu. We can just give -1000 to a character and then KO the blocker, for example. Playing the Gedatsu, sadly, we have to let our Limburg go. Yeah, and at this point, probably play out the Ivankov and then cheat out the Karatsu. Would be quite nice to get Queen only to 4k power. Yeah, the Rush character would have been also nice, but I thought like the -1000 is maybe better. Oh, I even played it. I thought I played out the Karatsu. Anyways, okay. Then I decided like this. Ah, okay. I was a little confused. I thought like I remember myself that I played the Karatsu for sure at this point, but I had enough done for playing the Inazuma out as well for some extra rush. Quite nice. So now he's getting 4 attacks into lead and he has -1000 leader. This is, yeah, quite nice for us. 6 into 4. Also he did a small misplay here, if you didn't notice, for our first attack. He just gave us a 1k counter and he thought he still had 5000 and then he thought he lost a life. So small misplay. Maybe this could have changed a little for him. But yeah, anyways, he takes the life. Now 7 into 4, he takes it as well. And oh, we even get out a trigger from Nami and draw a card. Nice. KOing our Ivankov, the 4 cost. So we have 4 characters now on the board and another Nami. This is probably the worst character for us. Establishing a character, getting rid of our not rested character and also drawing a card. Of course you have to trash a card, but usually you can trash maybe a card you don't need so much. Yeah, he gets rid of half of our board. We have to counter out maybe at this point. Yeah, at least taking 1 character, and he gives up at this point. I'm not sure, like he gave up probably a little early. I'm not sure what the Odin is doing. I'm actually also not sure like how he can draw from Sanji. Maybe with the Dofi. But anyways, we would have gotten Morley trigger in the next life attack, and yeah, Morley would have been able to attack directly on the next turn without any blocker, and he had such a small hand size he probably couldn't have countered out of a straight 15 Morley attack. So yeah, he lost at this point and couldn't do anything about it. Okay, let's recheck the decklist. I quite enjoyed the decklist. I had to change it a little around. At first I didn't play the events. I was playing, what did I play before? Let's check. I think I played the other Inazuma. This one, but I'm actually not a big fan of it. It's like a banished character and I feel like banish is not so useful at the moment. And the other character I cannot remember. Maybe a dragon? I don't know. Anyways, I switched out for these two and they are quite nice. I think the extra triggers is really important. For everyone who has a problem with playing this deck, I had quite big problems at the beginning to play this deck as well, because you want to just go straight push. And sometimes you forget that Belo Betty can use her leader ability or get the biggest advantage for 3 characters. So if you're playing for turn 1, for example, Belo Betty, then on turn 3 you take like going with Belo Betty into opponent life with 5000, and then take the 3 Dawn for Belo Betty and attack also in life, which you can usually do with a lot of leaders. You will probably lose next turn your Belo Betty, because usually the opponent plays a character, KOs something, maybe something which is rested, or just attacks into Belo Betty, and then you have always 1 character less. So I usually just lost my first character in the first round, which I didn't do in my gameplays. I always played another Belo Betty, or maybe even played out where is he, a Kuma for 2 cost and then attack with 1 extra Don with Belo Betty or something. So I always try to get some cards on the board before I start to attacking. Usually you want to have 3 for the Belo Betty effect. Usually you can also have just 2 and then playing out the Ivankov and use then the extra power for cheating something out, which is nice. But in general, you want to have at least 2 characters which can go into your opponent's life. And the first attack maybe doesn't matter so much. It's quite important that you got a small board, like something maybe like a Karasu, to maximize your value. And also the triggers are quite important. It doesn't help you a lot if you counter out at the beginning and you don't see any triggers, and then in the end you maybe get a Karasu for blocking and then maybe a Kuma at the end and game is over. Usually you want to get the trigger kind of early, so you maybe play out 2 Belo Bettys in turn 3, or in a 3 Don turn, or in your second turn. In the second turn, and then in your third turn you usually have then 5 Don. So you have 2 Belo Bettys and maybe he attacked you. You got maybe a Kuma, I don't know, or this Kuma, and then you automatically have 3 attacks. And if you then play out the Ivankov, give him maybe give him with Belo Betty plus 3000, play out the Karasu, give the opponent leader minus 1000. You have at least 2 characters plus the Belo Betty, which can go into life and attacking 5 into 4. And even 1 Don open, which you can also use for 6 Don attacks. So he gets 6 attacks from one point to another, and he probably cannot KO all of your 2 cost characters. And sometimes they also don't want, like if you already got 2 attacks and only have 2 life, maybe he thinks like, or she thinks like, why not just going for life? Like he's not countering out. Like why should I attack here 2 cost characters when I can go for for game? And then you can put off the 2 cost 2k counters to support maybe the last life or something, and then in the clapback you can go for life as well, because your board stacks quite well. And usually also if you have 5 characters on board and the opponent attacks 1 or 2, it's not a big problem. You can play out for most characters anyways 2 at one time, or even the Inazuma for gaining rush and then attacking also as well, so, or getting a trigger if he then goes into life after KOing 2 characters. So always make sure to get the triggers to establish a board and then go for life. It doesn't make so much sense to just go 1 attack in a turn, then maybe stay a little humble and wait for the next turn. Sometimes the opponent can KO you quite well if you know he has 2 Namis in hand or she has 2 Namis in hand. Then of course you can just play the card out, and or like if you have it already, like this one or this one maybe trigger played out and you want to attack, then maybe just attack for getting some counters out of his hands. Also depends on your board size probably, but if you know it gets KO'd anyways, then why not attack? But otherwise I would always stay a little humble with the deck, and it can be quite nice to play actually. I enjoyed the round a lot. Like today I played a lot and it was quite fun playing with the deck. And for example, like the last 2 days I played with the deck and I lost like nearly every game because I didn't really understand how the deck functions. So you maybe need some rounds to experience this kind of different deck style. It's not like red, yellow, Sabo, which you just go full ham in, or Dofi. Maybe it takes you 1 or 2 games or even a little more to understand how it functions. Anyways, thank you for watching the video. Like and subscribe if you if you liked the video, if you had fun to watch it and got some ideas for yourself maybe playing Belo Betty, and see you in the next video. Bye.